Hey everybody, it's GoblinX, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're going to be playing another Premier Draft of Dominaria. Without further ado, let's get into our pack one, pick one. We've got a few pretty good options here. Two that I think stand out above the rest. We have Settle the Score for excellent removal. It's going to exile a creature, which is a big deal in this format. There's some graveyard recursion and some death triggers. You can also buff a planeswalker with some loyalty counters, but that's less impactful. It's really just a good way to exile creatures. It's the best removal spell in the pack, but there's also a solid rare for a wizard's deck. Definitely need to draft around Nabon, but some of the best wizards in the format, some of the best common and uncommon wizards have triggered abilities on their enter the battlefield, and being able to double them up is pretty nasty. So we're going to take Nabon there, but I'm also a huge fan of the Thallid Omnivore in that pack, probably in my top three. Pick two, we've got a Wizard's Retort now. This is a very efficient counter spell in a wizard deck. Just double blue to counter something, same as the original counter spell. Lava Runner's another great card for these wizards decks. Chronicler's okay. It's 2 mana 1/3 no abilities, is not very good. And then 6 mana 1/3 pickup and instant or sorcery is a little too expensive, but giving it both halves of the card, giving it that flexibility helps a lot to make it a playable still. But I'm going to go for the Wizard's Retort to go with the Nabon. Not only is that a great card to go with our first pick, but hopefully passing this Verdant Force is going to get the players to our left into green and get them passing us some more good wizards in the future. Pick number three, we now have the Syncopate. Counterspells in general just play pretty well in this format. It's a little bit slower, and countering just works great, so I'm happy to take a Syncopate here when there are no wizards in the pack. In fact, this whole pack is somewhat empty outside of the Syncopate. Pick number four. Another kind of awkward pack. Do some blue-black nonsense with Windgrace Acolyte or Whisper. I don't think Lich's Mastery does anything really. Yeah, no, that's really too build-aroundy for draft. Such a weird card. So Whisper is going to be really hard to do anything with if we're in blue-black, because we're just not going to get enough creatures. We don't really have token production in the color pair, but Whisper is definitely playable in green-black when you have a lot of saplings and stuff. Overseer's fine for just a random red creature, because blue-red is what the wizard deck would be. Just don't think Arcanist is very good. I don't want to take it super highly here. I don't know, I'll just speculate on the random black flyer. I think that's just kind of the strongest card. Pick five, Opt is fine. Thorn Elemental is fine. Not much else. Pick number six. Yeah, this is a Dominaria draft, all right. These cards are all really unappealing. Only like 5 picks into the draft. Deep Freeze it is, I guess. Mediocre on color removal. Guess we're speculating on Baloth Gorger as the best card in the pack. Pick 8. Well, we got a wizard. It's not a good one, but it's a wizard. Or we can just take a second Baloth Gorger. Yeah, I'll take a second Baloth Gorger. Maybe blue-green weird stuff. I highly doubt there are any green wizards in the set for Nabon's ability. But if they're the most open colors, we can just make a good just beefy creatures and counterspells deck. Just a weird mush pile. Pick 9. Nothing good here. Some filler green creatures at least, I suppose. Filler black card draw spell. Yeah, this is a good card for blue-black, because it's an instant speed way to draw cards, so we get to hold up our counterspell, cast a Dark Bargain if we don't end up using it. Yeah, maybe blue-black control looks reasonable here. Another late Windgrace Acolyte. Flyers have been playing great in the set. I have lost more games to Flyers in these last few drafts than anything else. Pick number 12, random green filler. Well, I can still take the red filler, because I do think that red filler was better than the green filler, and that way if we open up good red wizards early. We can still be blue-red wizards. We just have to really prioritize taking those cards super, super highly. Pack 2, pick 1. We only have one legend right now, so it's going to be real hard to cast legendary sorceries, but Yawgmoth's Vial Offering is a very powerful card if you can cast it. So I can take that, lock in on blue-black control, and take legends incredibly highly, or take Journey Mage, try to still forge my path towards wizards and take those super highly. Or just keep playing green-blue nonsense with the Alvamaya Sap Herd. I think I'm going to try to force blue-black control from here. Draft legends super high if we can. This is a format you can absolutely splash, so blue-black splashing white to give us another legend to cast the Yawgmoth's Vial Offering. As well as just a very strong card if we resolve it. Ariel is great. Oh my god, if we get 2 Ariel in a row, we might cut blue and just try to be black-white. What on earth? Alright. Super incredible card. I mean, On Sarah's Wings might be even better. This card is also ridiculous. You turn anything into an absolute game ender that has to be killed within a turn or two, or you just win. Incredible pack. We also need the Skittering Surveyor if we do stick 3-color and go blue-black splash white. I'm just going to take a second Ariel, get balmy in here. So pick 4. There's another black legend to go with the Yawgmoth's Vial Offering. Let's take the Urgoros. Pick 5. Valid Omnivore is the best card, but it doesn't look like it's going to be very good in this deck, so we might have to just take a 2-mana 2/2 to be able to block against more aggressive decks. Sapphire is the best card in the pack, regardless of color. No, Omnivore is still a little better than Sapphire, but these two are the best cards. Omnivore just really wants us to have token production or be a Sapperling deck, and we're just not going to do that. But I guess black-white, we have a tiny bit with Ariel's. Yeah, Evangel's filler enough, I think, to take Omnivore. Now I can take the filler Evangel. Mono black splash white with Cabal Stronghold. Even then, it doesn't ramp us up until we have 4 lands. No, even then, 3 basics in the Stronghold. If I tap the 3 basics in the Stronghold, I get 4 mana out of tapping 4 lands. It doesn't ramp you until you have 5 mana already. That just doesn't matter in draft. That's only if you're doing some big X mana spell nonsense in Commander. Okay, black-white legends we are. Urza's Ruinous Blast to exile all non-legends. That can sometimes be a one-sided board wipe if you're super lucky. And it's an archetype that already wants you to draft legends super highly. This is a really nice alternate path we've found ourselves trying to jump onto here. If we're lucky and we can find at least a filler on-color card out of each pick, even if it's just a 2-mana 2/2, we should end up with a pretty strong deck here just because of the sheer quantity of good rares in this deck. We do, in pack 3, need to pick up at least a couple more legends, ideally. We've only got 3 right now for our 2 different legendary spells. But yeah, for now, just taking a bunch of Knight and Nubenalias and Cabal Evangels is fine. I think I'm going to take a Knight over another Omnivore, because having more Knights in the deck is good with Ariel, and I've already got 3-4 mana things to do, a couple 5 mana things to do. I've got a lot of late game. So some more early game plays. And Benalish Honor Guard is a Knight, which goes well with Ariel, and gets bigger for our Legends, which is another thing we're doing here. Although, Final Parting... Nah, take the Honor Guard. Like, it's going to be hard to run Final Parting. Because, like, 5 mana, it's a lot just to tutor for something. But it is cute with Vial Offering, because we put a card in our hand and one to our graveyard, then we can Vial Offering and reanimate the one we put in grave. Like, it's cute, but it's sketchy. It's a lot of mana, a lot of time. Alright, on Sarah's Wings easily this time. We turn any of our non-legends into a legendary flyer. So slap this onto a Cabal Evangel, and now we can cast our legendary sorceries. Plus, we're just hitting for 1,000,000, so this is going to be fantastic in this deck. Glorious Rebirth could end up being okay in this deck, but you do 7 mana. It's 7 mana, and you can only cast it if you already have a legend on board. If this weren't a legendary sorcery, it would still be like okay, because it's a little narrow, has to be really late game, you have to have stuff engraved. But the fact that it's a legendary sorcery is what really pulls us away from it there. Okay, pack 3, pick 2. Pegasus Courser looks good. We got 4 2-drops already, so sending them into the sky for extra damage is going to be nice. I have like almost no removal in this deck. We just have legendary sorceries for blowing things up. Oops. Get back here, Yawgmoth. Ooh, speaking of no removal, Eviscerate. Now we have one. Take that over Dreadshade, it's just real hard to cast. And even if we could cast it consistently, I think we need removal bad enough to take the Eviscerate. I need 5 more playables. And we're on pick 3 of pack 3. We should be fine. I guess pick 4. Well, there you go. Vicious Offering for more removal. Take that over Call the Cavalry, although Call the Cavalry does work well with the Ariel. Pick 5, another Pegasus Courser. Let's go. Pretty happy with that. Pick 6, Knight of Malice is excellent in a black-white deck. There's a white version of this card as well. I think it's Knight of Glory or something like that. But these are both really good if you're a black-white deck, and decent in any other deck. First strike on a card that cheap is just good. Yeah, Fungal Infection's also pretty good, but definitely the Knight here. Pick 7. This would be an okay short sword deck. 15 creatures. Yeah, if I have to end up running some filler, short sword's a fine one. Really want to end up cutting this Excavation Elephant, ideally. Pick 8. Blessed Light over Rat Colony or Aether Glider? Sure. Pick 9. I think I like Cabal Paladin better than Excavation Elephant in here. So we'll do that swap. Jousting Lance is a little better than Short Sword, I think. I mean, definitely when you're on the aggressive, it's better. That first strike's kind of a big deal. But I guess it's a little more narrow. It's a lot of mana to dump into it. I don't know, we're going to have to play 1 random filler equipment, it looks like. I guess this is a pretty expensive mana sink. Short Sword does cost pretty little. If Dub made the card legendary, I'd run Dub over the Short Sword. I think it's probably Short Sword over Dub. One of these two. How bad do I care about Knights? Not that badly, literally just for Ariel. Yeah, I'm actually kind of sad this doesn't make the card legendary, because that would hit some good historic synergies. That would be a fun little design. Yeah, I guess I'll just run Short Sword. Alright. Well, obviously a pretty late pivot here, so we absolutely have some filler. I mean, every deck in Dominaria has some filler, but we have some pretty bad filler. We got like Drudge Sentinel, we got 2 mana 2/2s that don't do anything else. 4 mana 4/2 that does a little bit of damage. Some bad filler in the deck for sure. But we ended up with a decent removal count with Vicious Offering, Eviscerate, Blessed Light, and the legendary sorceries. And a really good bomb count with double Ariel, and of course, the legendary sorceries. The On Sarah's Wings I'd even sort of classify as a bomb because it just takes any creature and turns them into a bomb. So deck still looks real powerful even for a late pivot here, and I'm really happy with this one. So we'll see how it all plays out for us as we head into the gameplay. All right, here we are for game one. We're on the draw, and all we need to do is hit a white source to have a great hand here. So I'm going to keep it, and if we don't hit the white source by turn 4, our Dark Bargain can dig 3 cards deeper towards finding it. It is the black-white mirror match, but they have all their colors. Not the greatest start ever. Okay, cast downing a 2-mana 2/2 makes me feel pretty happy. Got that out of the way on a very inconsequential card, and even better, we top decked the white source. Ariel has arrived. We're going to have to eviscerate before we cast our own Ariel then. Arvad. A lot of legends over there. Our Ruinous Blast is going to be bad in this matchup. Blessed Light the Arvad eventually. For now, we play our... Yeah, let's see if they have removal. No, I think I'll play the Thallid. I think the Thallid is big enough that if they have the removal, especially if they were going to cast down a 2-mana 2/2, they'd probably kill the Thallid Omnivore so they can attack with Arvad and get some lifelink. Yeah, so 1 mana away from Candle. Once they hit Candle, they're just going to Candle the Omnivore to get in. And then we have that out of the way. We then Blessed Light the Arvad and follow up with our Ariel. Kill the Courser. Fair enough. Take my 2 damage in the sky. Bless the Arvad. That's actually a flavor win. We Blessed Light their Vampire. Jousting Lance? Alright, that knight's getting in then. What is it, a 5 power first striker? Ooh, the Aether Glider's getting the Lance. Alright, we're taking 4 a turn, certainly on a clock. Dauntless Bodyguard to protect the Glider. All in on the flyers here. Well, time to get gross then, right? Yep, some cool stuff there, but anyways, I started blasting. There's the concession from our opponent. We start things off 1-0 with a victory in the mirror match. Here we are for game number 2. We're on the draw again, so I can try to draw into the black source, but this time if I don't hit the black source, I'm doing literally nothing until turn 5 even. I have to take the mulligan. Why? Why? Mull to 5. Alright, we've got our colors. Probably 6-drop lands, but then if Ariel dies, we're so dead because we can't even cast the offering. Maybe I'm supposed to keep Ariel in the 6-drop, but keeping a 6-drop and a 5-card hand, hoping to draw into 6 lands. I don't know, this was a rough batch of mulligans for us, and we are starting off way behind on cards. So we're going to have to really get some immense value out of these spells to win the game here. So far so good. We're going to make it to Ariel and this Eviscerate we drew into. Homered Explorer, sure, that doesn't really do anything. It's a 4-drop that trades into my 2-drop. Alright, please no Blessed Light, and then we top deck land 5 and win. That's the plan. No Blessed Light, and a basic land on top of our deck. Those are the 2 things we need. Alright, I mean, Milling Me More makes the Vile Offering even better if we hit the land. We did not, but Dark Bargain can find it. So we just pass the turn here. Probably Dark Bargain. Oh. That's super tilting. And of course. Oh boy. Well, I mean, obviously I have the Eviscerate for the Ariel, but even so, I just got 2-for-1 really bad. They killed my bomb and made me discard my removal spell here. Seven here. Go to 8. Okay. That's one of the strongest 2-card combos in the set, is on Sarah's Wings on the Snapper, because the Hexproof, so you then have a 5-6 flying lifelink Hexproof Vigilance. Well, that was just a classic game of variance there. We were forced into some terrible mulligans, and our opponent had some incredible late-game plays, so really nothing we could do in that one. 1-1 heading into game 3. Okay, snap keep on this hand at least. There's Evangel from opponent, and here's our knight. Blue-black from opponent. Vicious Offering the Knight of Malice. Poke for 2. Really just want to draw any legend. Try to get the Ruinous Blast going here. $16. I do have a Blessed Light for removal. I could blow the Vicious Offering on this Evangel, because like our Paladin's not going to block it anyway. Certainly an option. No attacks is very surprising, but I'm also perfectly fine with it. All of their mana up for a potential counter. And being mana efficient with Acolyte is kind of solid here, but if Courser draws the counterspell, that's fine. And even if it doesn't, that means we start hitting for 5 a turn, attacking with Courser and Paladin. It's a 4-turn clock. Just hitting them all in the sky here. Yeah, there's a Divination, great card, but it does not affect the board. Okay, well. We just try to kill them in 4 swings, I guess. This probably draws the Vicious Offering if they have one. No. And I've got the 1 mana to pay for a Syncopate, too. Eldest Reborn. That card is very, very strong. Probably just have to ditch the Paladin. Keeps the clock the same now. We're about to discard an Urza's Ruinous Blast to this Eldest Reborn, that's for sure. But then we're going to die when it hits Chapter 3. Picks up the best card out of any graveyard. They don't have anything in theirs, but they get to pick up Paladin or Knight of Malice. I guess it's not like we're getting bombed out of the game by whatever they reanimate, but just the fact that I got 3 cards worth of value is pretty fantastic. It killed our 4-drop creature, our 5-drop spell, and it's gonna reanimate a 4-drop creature. Huge value play. Probably gonna do us in if we don't hit another, like, Ariel or something really good. Yep. I probably should have still attacked. 14 life. But I know I'm gonna have to removal spell whatever they reanimate here, rather than these. So, like, I'm getting cracked for 3 if I don't send Courser in. Or if I do send Courser in. Oh boy. Big flyer. Seven mana, they can syncopate unless they pay 3. Even if I top deck a land, they can still syncopate the Blessed Light, so we just do it. No! Well, that cleared the path for Eviscerate. Yeah, they could have syncopated the Eviscerate. Yeah, that's literally the best we could have possibly played around Syncopate here. We certainly don't have time to leave that around until we have like 8 lands. Two, three, two, three, two. I think we can slightly outrace them, maybe. And especially because if I play any other creature, it's also in the sky. Yeah, sure. Unless whatever's in their hand saves a paladin. But I assume it's a fungal infection. Just a -1/-1 and a Saproling. Another Knight of Malice. And a Deathbloom Thallid. Stop playing spells. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. If I top deck any creature, I can attack them for lethal next turn. If they do not have interaction. Well, they keep drawing fantastic spells, so that's not going to happen. And we're quite dead. Final draw step. Yeah. Alright. 1 and 2, heading into game number 4. Is it time for the tilt keep? Arena take the wheel, if this is how things are going to be today? Arena take the wheel. Worst case scenario. My pain is over. It's all up to you, Shuffler. Alright, that's not bad. Creature to throw the sword onto. Problem is, lands are what we really, really want there. There's one of them. Just need that single swamp, and we're golden. opponent is really set up for a long game. That is probably the worst draw on the deck. Because it's a duplicate of a legend already in hand. Alright, they're already just looting around. Setting up their draws for later game plays. Super ramping with this Llanowar Scout. And their green, blue, and blacks. They're probably going to Muldrotha me. If I find the black source in time, I can kill the Muldrotha. That's an incredibly embarrassing draw. That's like as close to castable as possible while still not doing anything. My God, they're gonna Verdant Force me? Still just a single swamp away from killing it the turn it comes out, so. Man, if I just had like a solid curve out hand, their hand is dirtily over there. They've dumped like 9 mana into an Urza's Tome already. Now they're cracking a Memorial. Homerid Explorer, they're definitely a Muldrotha deck. Those colors and the self-mill Homerid. Oh man. Gotten to 50% of our deck being lands now, which is way higher than the initial ratio of all the missed land drops. Any land in the whole deck would get us in such a sweet spot with On Sarah's Wings. We get to start attacking for 5 in the sky. Be incredibly surprised if they mill me. Yeah, they're definitely Muldrotha deck. Self-milling, and Muldrotha lets them recast any permanents from their graveyard. Well, I hit the plains just in time for them to have their removal spell up when I try to cast On Sarah's Wings. Ooh, they don't have one? Oh, they don't have one, let's go! Are they just gonna die to a single Benalish Honor Guard? After using Urza's Tome like infinite times? There's no way. There's no shot. They're gonna have like sorcery speed removal probably. They just couldn't respond to the On Sarah's Wings. Now they're gonna have to trade a Kazarov off? Well, if we top deck Swamp now, that's game. Let's go! Never didn't have it. Perfect keep. No risk involved at all. I'm a genius. Alright, here we are on the play for game 5. We're 2-2 right now. This will be the difference between a run with more losses than wins, or at least an average run here. And so far, so good. We're on the play with a couple 2-drop creatures. Play a 4-drop turn 4. Let's get some damage in here. Blue-Red Wizards is the best archetype in the format, though. It'll be a little bit of an uphill battle here. Just have a lot of really efficient cards compared to what a lot of the other decks can get. Like a 4-mana 3/2 bounce something, 1 mana 2 damage, or 5 mana 4 damage. That Shivan Fire kind of removal. Bounce spells play great in the format in general, and they've got those galore, and counter spells play great as well. They've got a lot of those too. Alright, trade one of these into a Bloodstone Goblin and bounce off the other one. I don't want to blow any removal on these creatures, so we'll trade a 2/2 off into one of them. Oh, nice. The Evangel just snuck by, didn't even bounce off the Arcanist. There's that Journey Mage I was talking about. Incredible magic card. Omnivore goes back to hand. Acolyte is the draw. Alright, well, while they're tapped out, let's get the evasive threat down. So they can't counter it, but they could have burn for it. Let's hope not. Actually, I should have probably... Well, if they attack with Journey Mage, I'll be happy to trade my 2/2 into that. But there was an argument to keep the Acolyte for post-combat, because they already let the Evangel pass the Arcanist before. So they might do it again. Ooh, gross. Fire Fist Adept is fantastic. It's a removal spell and creature all in one. All of the removal spell on a stick creatures are just great. So they are up in cards here. Short Sword's honestly not that bad a draw, but I still need to play Omnivore first. But that's going to keep the Evangel relevant here, making it 3/3. Means it doesn't just bounce off the Arcanist. It actually trades into something. Well, let's get run amucked, I guess. No, we actually just traded the Journey Mage. Land 6, Lava Runner, just a 1/2. And Cloud Reader Sphinx, big flyer. Also Scries, but those 2 Scries are not cards they're interested in. Okay, our end goal now is survive until we draw a legend, so that we can cast the Vile Offering. I am at 20 here, so I think I still attack, even though I am trying to survive a while. Warlord's Fury. Just draw a card pretty much, but it also gets the Lava Runner closer to getting its +1/+0. Start heading for 2 damage. Naban, uh-oh. Oh my god, if they play another, like, Fire Fist Adept style card, we're super dead. Do I have to Blessed Light Naban just for that? Could just play Knight of Malice and move the sword to it, and they have no attacks here. Yeah, unless they top deck a wizard with an enter effect. Naban is not immediately impactful, so I can wait a turn to do that. Alright, just play an island and draw 2 off the Memorial. So no Naban abilities this turn, so I can just Blessed Light in response to whatever creature they play later. Yikes, they did draw the cheap bounce though, so we do take a million here. Well, even if we die, at least we got to show off the downside of legendary sorceries. I don't usually take them super highly. Just really hoping this would be the deck for them, but I think every single one of our losses we've had a legendary sorcery sitting in our hand doing nothing. So that's been a big detractor here to our win rate for sure. Oh. Boy, Chronicle back the blink and I have no blockers. Oh, I forgot the Chronicler Kicker ability counts as a triggered ability, even though they actively spent 4 mana for it. It's a triggered and not an activated ability. So they get the double bounce. Or the double pickup here. I mean, it doesn't matter. They bounce this, I exile this. I would be at 3 life now, even if I killed Naban before the Chronicler. I guess I'd have to take 6 to kill Naban, so I'd be at 2. Well, that'd get tapped. I mean, it's a loss, regardless. But definitely with the double kick. 2 and 3 it will be. I don't think this deck was that bad, but I do think that legendary sorceries are certainly a double-edged sword, and we drew them often, and often when we didn't have legends. So these were some of the biggest detractors to the deck here. We only have the 4 legends in the deck, the Sarah's Wings, Ariel's, and the Urgaros. So I think we just needed a few more legends for this deck to be ideal. Say we got into black-white quick enough, and we had, instead of like a Drudge Sentinel, we had a Danitha, that's a 3-mana legendary lifelinker. Instead of a Cabal Paladin, maybe we'd have an Arvod at 5 mana, the 5 mana 3/3 Death Touch lifelink. Just a couple more legends like that. I think this deck would be pretty good. But instead, we have kind of an inconsistent build. As you can see, the games were really inconsistent. I mean, the wins were like, well, no, the second win, we had really bad mana. But we still had like a really explosive hand had we hit the mana. So it's like the wins are like super explosive. The highs are really high with this deck, but the lows are really low, where we end up with filler cards and legendary sorceries that can do literally nothing. So it's kind of the downside to the legendary sorcery mechanic, and I don't think they've ever done it again since then. I don't think it's a super fun mechanic, locking your spell away, just being uncastable half the time. But, yeah, 2 and 3 it is. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.